I'm Wanye Reese.
And I'm Caitlin Hecka. We are celebrating because it is Friday. We have made it to the end of the week. The weekend's almost here. And we're celebrating a great forecast this weekend too, Courtney.
That's right. Yeah, it's going to be beautiful. If you've been enjoying the weather the past few days, then boy, do we have a treat for you, especially as we head through the next couple of days. But if the 70s right now in February are still just a little too warm for you too early, we do have some colder air, a little bit of something for everyone over the next 7 days, and we'll cover it all in just a few minutes. Right now, we're going to give you what you need to know as you head out the door. 35 right now in the city of Macon, quiet in downtown. I'm just seeing a couple of cars in downtown. I think I'm standing over it. There it is. There we are. We got the early riser out already. Temperatures area-wide generally in the mid to upper 30s. We're at 35 again in Macon, 38 in Warner Robins. Some of us in the low 30s, like in Milledgeville at 33 and Gordon at 34. And we're at 39 in Montezuma. Wind starting to make the slow shift from the west out of the southwest. And that's going to help give us our nice and warm day today. Just a few clouds this morning. That's going to about do it. We'll see lots of sunshine through the day. Temperatures are going to climb very quickly between 10 and noon. We're going to jump from the 50s to the 60s. I'll have the details on your weekend forecast, of course. That's all my full forecast in a few minutes.
Thank you, Courtney. A Central Georgia veteran is sharing his frustration this morning after the Dublin VA notified thousands of veterans about possible exposure to infection. This week, we told you about the Carl Vinson VA Medical Center saying over 4,000 vets may have been exposed to possibly unclean medical equipment.
They are informing all veterans who had certain procedures within the last year and recommending that they get tested for specific illnesses. Patrick Cunningham went to the VA last month to get some labs done.
Yesterday, he actually got a robotic call from them about possible exposure to illnesses like hepatitis B, C, and HIV.
It was crazy. They couldn't even have a human being call me about this.
Cunningham served in the Army for 7 years. He says he's not shocked by the situation because he believes there's room for improvement when it comes to taking care of vets.
For example, Cunningham lives in Macon. The Macon VA couldn't do the lab work he needed done, so he had to drive to Dublin, and that's where he was possibly exposed last month.
It's crazy. There's no quality control. I mean, granted, the director came in and finally stepped in and did something, and I am grateful for that. But this should have never been the case in the first place, period.
Now, the Dublin VA hopes potentially exposed veterans will get tested for those bloodborne illnesses, but they are not required to.
Cunningham says he will get tested just to be safe. It's free. If you're a veteran who the situation is impacting and you have more questions, you can call the Carl Vinson VA. You see the number. It's at the bottom of your screen. It's 478-274-5400. That number again, it's 478-274-5400.
Now to three other stories that we are following for you this morning. A murder trial for a 2019 Baldwin County deadly shooting case is now over. A jury returned a not guilty verdict yesterday for William Weaver. Back in September of 2019, the sheriff's office says Jody Raley and his wife were arguing when she called her ex-husband William Weaver to come pick up his son. When he showed up, the two men got into an argument that ended with Weaver shooting Raley. Raley later died at a hospital. His family members say they are devastated by the outcome of the trial. District Attorney T. Wright Barksdale says it was a tough case going in, and the state will respect the jury's decision. 22 people now face federal charges and possibly life in prison after a 3-year undercover drug investigation that netted well over 100 pounds of meth. Federal prosecutors say the meth distribution ring reached from Mexico to Baldwin County to Atlanta. Yesterday, Baldwin County Sheriff Bill Massey showed off cash, guns, and marijuana seized in raids on Wednesday. 20 of the 22 suspects are from Milledgeville, and Sheriff Massey says they hope to make at least one more arrest. More than a dozen law enforcement agencies helped with that investigation. Right now, an East Lawrence middle school student faces an armed robbery charge, accused of bringing a gun to school and robbing another student. The sheriff's office says yesterday someone told the school that an 8th grade student brought a gun to school on Wednesday. During the investigation, a deputy learned the 13-year-old used a gun to rob another student of cash. Investigators charged a team. They later recovered the gun from the 8th grader's home. Let's get you to some state news now at 6:34 a.m. A 4-year-old shot at an apartment complex in Griffin last week is now dead. Authorities say the child died Wednesday night. The shooting happened last Thursday. Investigators have now upgraded charges against the child's 24-year-old mother and a 20-year-old man to second-degree homicide. Initially, the man faced charges including cruelty to children and false reporting. The mom faced similar charges. The man told police he and the child were in front of the apartment building when there was a drive-by shooting, but it's unclear if that actually happened. Police have not yet released details on who they believe shot the child or whether it was accidental. A second baby in Georgia has now died because of COVID-19 complications. The state reported a child under the age of 1 died in Hall County. We don't know if the baby boy had any chronic conditions. Back in December, the state reported its first COVID-19 related death of a baby in Houston County. That child was said to have a chronic condition.
There's a new lawsuit against suspended Clayton County Sheriff Victor Hill. He is named in a former inmate's wrongful death lawsuit. The lawsuit claims the former inmate went into labor at the jail in December of 2019, was admitted to the infirmary, and pleaded to be sent to a hospital. The suit claims she was not sent to the hospital until she gave birth, with her child dying days later. This is at least the 7th federal case against Sheriff Hill and comes as Hill's attorneys recently filed a new appeal to lift his suspension. Jury selection continues today in the federal hate crimes trial for the 3 men convicted of murdering Ahmaud Arbery. After 4 days, 57 potential jurors have qualified to move to the next round of questioning next week. The judge wanted between 50 to 60 in place before they narrowed that down to 12 jurors and 4 alternates. Despite getting to 57, the judge says they'll question 2 more groups of 15 this morning, and depending on how that goes, they may question even more on Monday. Opening statements could start as early as next week. Father and son Gregory and Travis McMichael, along with William Roddy Bryant, are accused of targeting Arbery because he was black.
Well, a Spaceport land deal will now have to wait for a special election next month. A judge blocked a Georgia county from buying land for a commercial spaceport until the project goes before voters. Commissioners in coastal Camden County have spent 10 years and more than $10 million pursuing a launch pad for sending satellites into orbit. In December, federal regulators granted them an operator license. Yesterday, a judge granted an injunction prohibiting the county from closing on the property before the March 8th election. We now know who will design and build an amphitheater next to the Macon Mall. The Macon-Bibb Urban Development Authority approved 4 companies. One of the lead contractors is Macon's Piedmont Construction. They helped create the Battery, where the Braves play in Atlanta, and the Brickyard at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. 10,000
people will be able to enjoy concerts at the future space, and a possible gondola network could help them get there. Mayor Lester Miller compares it to the monorail at Disney World, saying it would connect downtown to the proposed amphitheater at the Macon Mall.
Well, today the Moonhanger Group will dedicate a new mural at H&H Soul Food in Macon. Last month, artist Stephen Teller finished the artwork honoring the Allman Brothers and local legend Mama Louise. Just take a look at how beautiful this is. It also pays tribute to her longtime business partner Inez Hill. The painting represents the friendship between Mama Louise, who co-owned the restaurant on Forsyth Street, and the young musicians who moved to Macon in the 70s and became music greats. Mama Louise often fed the band even when they were low on cash, and in return, they always stuck by her side. The H&H restaurant closed down in 2013, but reopened under new management from the Moonhanger Group. You can catch the mural dedication this afternoon at 4. I mean, Caitlin, I have so many memories there. When I was interviewing to get a job here at 13, news director Laura, she took me there for lunch, and I remember meeting Mama Louise, and it's something that I'll never forget. She's just such a special person. And man, what a way to reel you in to come to Macon, take you to H&H. That would have sold me right there. Oh, yes. The food was delicious, but trust me, by the time I got on that shuttle back to the airport, I knew this was home. Oh, exactly. Well, we're glad that you're here and have been here. Of course, time is now 6:38. We're also glad that it is the weekend, and a good weekend at that.
Yes, it's going to be wonderful for the weekend, no matter what you're doing. Because I'm sure, I know you, I know Wanye, y'all have Valentine's Day plans this weekend. That's right. So we're hoping for some good weather for those. Yes, it is a forecast to love, everybody, this weekend. No matter whether you like warmer air or colder air, we have that for you. And we're going to talk about it all in just a couple of minutes here. But first, we've been talking about this throughout the morning and really throughout the week. It is Severe Weather Preparedness Week here in Georgia, and Friday today is the last day of it, and today we focus on flooding. So you have 2 different kinds of floods. You have flash flooding, you also have river flooding. And flash flooding, that's when you have that training of rain for hours and hours over the same spot with heavy rain, and that causes those quick flashy floods, usually in the roads, and that's when we tell you turn around, don't drown. Now then, of course, you have river flooding, pretty self-explanatory. We know that that has happened plenty of times here in central Georgia. One very infamous, the flood of '94, that I believe meteorologist Alex Forbes did a segment on yesterday. And that's typically thanks to a rainy pattern, a setup, so over a longer period of time, or thanks to a tropical system. Now, soil type, also important. Clay soil, so Georgia clay, that usually leads to flashier floods, while sandy soil, because it just is more porous, can hold more water. That's usually when you look ahead to those river floods. So there is your weather lesson for the morning, and the last one for Severe Weather Preparedness Week. Now through the day today, we do have another wonderful forecast, so not worried about any flooding, and really rain is going to be hard to find until we head into next week. All of you students getting ready to head out to the bus stop this morning, you're going to need the jacket. It's cold out there. And as we head through the day today, temperatures will be nice and warm. So for that ride home, it's going to be a treat for you. Temperatures will be in the low 70s again today. Yes, we did make it into the 70s yesterday. Right now, cold start no matter where you're waking up. 34 in the city of Dublin, and area-wide, we're generally in the low to mid 30s. Some of us in the upper 30s. The further south and west of Macon you go, the warmer it is, because our wind is starting to shift out of the southwest. So you'll be the first ones to warm up today. We're at 38 in Warner Robins, 39 in Montezuma, 34 in Gordon, 33 in Milledgeville, and 35 in Macon. High pressure off to our southeast. The way high pressure rotates clockwise, that's going to give us that southwest flow and the beautiful, sunny and warm day. Low 70s today. We're going to do it all over again tomorrow as high pressure continues to dominate the forecast. Here comes our cold front. It's going to bring rain, maybe even some snow to parts of the southeast, especially up towards the Carolinas. Here at home, it's just going to offer us a slight breeze as we head into Sunday, and then it's going to bring us that cooler air as we head into the afternoon hours. That cool air, though, going to be quite brief here in central Georgia. We'll be in the 70s today and tomorrow. Lots of sunshine, and then in the 50s Sunday only into Monday. But notice as we head through next week, temperatures will go back near 70 by Wednesday. And that's also when we'll start to introduce rain back to the forecast as we head into the middle of next week.